Greetings, programs, and welcome to another episode of Recruit a Friend, the show where we learn about the people behind the keyboard. Today, we're sitting down with a ghost, a hero, a ranger general, a harbinger, the head of the Blight Caller fan club, and the Banshee Queen herself. Let's give a big Recruit a Friend welcome to Theramore's favorite daughter, Dark Lady Kira. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Dude, the list of things that you've done, like Necromancer's not on there, Generic Blood Elf's not on there, Barissa's not, like, it's crazy.
I like one thing, and I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And then there's World of Warcraft.
Right.
Nathanos is like top of the line, and then everything else like comes after that.
Right. I saw one on your Twitter, you have a meme of Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones, and it's all the Blizzard games. Is there a Blizzard game you haven't done yet?
No.
No.
In fact, no. I got the main ones. I am.
Yeah, you're rocking and rolling.
Blizzard can call me up at any time and be like, "We need this," and I'll be like, "I got you."
Yeah,
Easy.
we're definitely going to talk about Blizzard calling you because that's crazy. But let's start with Warcraft. Or maybe we'll do as a general. How did you get into Blizzard games? What was your first experience to those?
When I was a kid, I don't know how I acquired it, but I got a bookmark and it had Sylvanas on it, and I thought she was really hot. And then it kind of went. I just hyper fixated on her and Lorthermar for a lot of my life. And then I dabbled a little bit into World of Warcraft during Wrath of the Lich King. And when I got older and had like my own computer during Warlords of Draenor and stuff, I started really getting into World of Warcraft, kind of hitting peak with Legion when Sylvanas became War Chief, and she was kind of like the main central focus of the story. And then here my life is.
Here we are. And now I am Warcraft.
Yeah.
I love that. Were you always, I hope none of these terms are offensive to cosplayers. I know very few of you. Have you always been like a costumer? Have you always been into, I don't know, costumes? I don't know what else. What should I call it?
So I have a really interesting story with cosplay because I started when I was 10 years old. This year will be 18 years that I've been like cosplaying. I started very, very young because my parents knew I liked anime and stuff and video games. So they got me a Sailor Uranus costume. For my birthday, and then took me to a local anime convention that was going on, and it kind of just has from there.
That's crazy. When did you make your first cosplay?
I want to say, because like I started dabbling in crafting costumes 7 or 8 years ago. I've made like Black Rose from Dot Hack. I made Zero from Drakengard 3. And kind of dabbled in it. And then I had commissioned an armor set from one of my friends because I was like, I really want to do armor. Don't really know how to do it. I tried a couple times. Really don't know what I'm doing. I kind of just want to look cool. And then I got inspired and started learning a lot of like armor crafting. And then it kind of exploded to here.
That's crazy. What is the armor? What do you make that out of?
So this is EVA foam, mixture of 5 and 10 millimeter. Some people like my Necromancer breastplate. It's a thermoplastic Warbler. So there's a few different materials that you can use depending on like what you want and the durability and how much breathability you need and what you feel like using, and it's a whole.
Do you ever sacrifice when do you make the decision to sacrifice comfort or appearance, or does that happen?
So I have chronic pain. So as soon as I put a costume on, it doesn't matter what I made it out of. I'm in pain.
Oh, I wish I had known that before this show.
So sometimes I'm like, how much, we're going to have Warbler legs, and that's a terrible decision for me, but we're going to do it anyway. So it's like, I know some cosplayers, they're like comfort over anything. And I'm like, I love that for you. And I'm glad you make that decision. I don't get that decision.
Oh, no.
But generally, EVA foam is a little bit more forgiving with like when I have joint pain and stuff. Warbler is the one that like you don't get a lot of flexibility with, so you're pretty rigid. And it can be a lot more painful. But that's generally, for me, that's like leg armor. If I make Warbler leg armor, it's going to be more difficult than if I have EVA foam armor. But my usual thing, which is the nice thing about Ilaria, is she has like built-in leg braces. So that makes her a little bit easier. But that's kind of my fun little...
That's nice. Where do you buy it? Do you just go on Amazon and say, hey, I need 45 sheets of EVA foam?
So, I personally work with Coscom Cosplay Supplies. They're a seller of like EVA foam and thermoplastics and different supplies you would need. There's a few different stores out there. Some craft stores have started selling EVA foam and thermoplastics, like Michael's Joanne's did for a little bit in collaboration with Yaya Han. And I believe like some other local craft places exist that also sell EVA foam and Worbla and airbrushing and stuff. It's becoming more and more normal, which is kind of cool. Where like we
Okay.
should cater to cosplayers, because back when I started, you had to like order from Europe to get
Oh,
thermoplastics and really good EVA foam. Lumen's Cosplay Supplies was like the big thing a few years ago because they had foam clay, and that was like the big new thing, and you could only get it from Europe. So things have become far more like accessible and normal and easy to get. I know some people do sometimes get foam and things off of Amazon. I haven't, because the one time I did, it was not good foam, and I haven't dabbled back, but that was like 6 years ago. But I'm
right.
like, that's okay. I'd like to touch it first.
I like that. I like that. Did you where do you learn how to do that? How do you learn armor molding? Like, is it self-taught? Did you go to a course? Were you
I
born
am
with it?
self-taught because there's a lot of really great tutorials online. Like Kamui and Kenpatsu are kind of like the big two. Narga cosplay was like my big inspiration for most of my life for World of Warcraft cosplay. She's like God to me, and I've always wanted to be her. And I'm like, anything I can do. And she has some really cool tutorials and like videos and stuff, and I would just watch her all the time and just be like, how do you do that? And I would buy her templates and be like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. So it's all very try, fail, try again, fail again,
Cool.
and then eventually you figure it out.
Yeah. What kind of I guess it's probably a skill you learn, but how do you translate what you see in a 2D image to 3D?
It's complex because like even having 3D models of like World of Warcraft characters, it's hard to translate what you see here to what you see on me, because I'm a human being that has to fit
Right.
the fantasy trope, and you kind of just trial and error. I do a lot of paper uh templating where I cover myself in what's the stuff called,
Paper
saran
mache?
wrap.
Oh, saran wrap. Okay.
So you cover yourself in saran wrap and then duct tape on top of it, and you sketch out like how much of the shape you want to do. I've gotten really good at like taking the side files of armor and
Mhm.
making digital patterns with that, and like translating it from paper to on a person kind of thing. The breastplate stuff is where I struggle the most because there's so much complexity to it. But it is a whole challenge trying to like, I got to take this and put it here. And it's sometimes your brain gets the better of you because it's so much weird geometry, and you're like, I don't know how I put that on a human being, but all right, we'll figure it out, I guess.
Right. Do you have
Like
like go ahead.
trying to rig Zolotov's cape on a human being, and I was the first person to do Zolotov, so I had no references to go off of how anybody else did it. So I'm saying like, this thing's how do I even figure that out? It floats half the time. It's this giant thing. It weighs a lot. Where do I put it? How do I rig it? So like, it's rigged to my back with Velcro, and then the chains you see on my shoulders actually hold up the weight of like the other two pieces, and they Velcro to the actual cape. So most of the weight on the cape is actually on my back, so that
Oh my
it's
God.
distributed so it doesn't like pull back too much or move. But then it's cosplay.
Could you cosplay? Could you not have just used the power of the void to hold it up?
God, I wish.
Are you? Is it just you? Is it solo Kira, or do you have like an assistant that helps you do this?
Oh, it's solo Kira. Some
Oh
of
my
the people
God.
are very lucky to have like significant others and assistants and people in your life that can help you. I generally do this by myself.
Wow.
So
That's I think that's doubly impressive.
thank you.
Yeah, that's I want to talk about weapons as well here in a second, but so along with the armor, you mold the armor. So you find the image, you look at it, you say, okay, this looks like this. You cover you tape yourself up in a duct tape suit. You figure it out, but then you have to paint it too. So it's not just you have to be like a visual designer, a molder, an armor crafter, and a painter.
Yep.
Do you use? Is it like spray painting? Is it brushes?
I love using airbrush.
Okay.
I got an airbrush machine 3 years ago, and it's been my obsession ever since. It makes such beautiful like detail work, especially with silver and gold armor. So I just sit in my garage for 9 hours and just airbrush.
That's great. And we can see behind you that there is just like, it's just Costume Central. This is crazy.
Yeah,
Is your whole house
you
just
can
just Blizzard characters? Is it just everywhere?
Yeah.
That's great.
When Blizzard came to record that WoW IRL documentary, the videographer like walked in and he was like, "Oh, I see."
Yeah. Sometimes people don't realize the depths of our obsessions. Yeah. So it's not just the armor. So you're painting again. I assume the painting is all self-taught. Were you an artist before? I guess you started at 10. So no, before you were a child.
I've always been a very artsy person. I focused in art and theater growing up, and in high school I actually had a high school where you could do that.
Cool.
I also have a cosmetology license, so I learned how to do hair and makeup.
Nice.
So I've always been like a very artsy person. So it just kind of all translated into doing this.
Right. Do you cosplay full time? Do you have a job outside of cosplay?
No.
You do. This is it. Wow. That's what's it like being able to make your dream your career?
It's weird because like of course when you're a kid you think of like what you're gonna be when you grow up, and every single thing I wanted to be when I grew up, I have chronic illnesses that made it really, really hard to do that. So then at some point cosplay became a possibility, and I was like, I guess this is what I do now, is dress up as fantasy characters and just play and have fun, which is incredible. I get to be my own boss and make my own schedule and work with when I'm not feeling well, or doing anything that goes along with having any kind of chronic illness. And it's really, really cool because it's a very rare thing to be able to say is your job. But man, it's one of the coolest things in the world, is getting to just be like, I just dress up for stuff, and sometimes companies hire me, and then I do promos for this thing, and it's very, very cool to
That's
be that
great.
like aligned with something that you love so much.
Yeah, that's very cool. And I don't know if this is too personal of a question. If it is, please let me know. Like because you are like the convention queen. If anybody who follows you on Twitter, it's like, oh, it's Tuesday, Kira's at a convention. Oh, it's Wednesday, she's across the country at a convention. Like, are those paid? Like, do you get paid to go to those conventions in costume?
Sometimes. So if I'm a guest, like for DreamHack, MegaCon, things like that, they're paying me to go out. I'll be in New Hampshire, I believe it's in September, that they're flying me out for, which is really cool. But then sometimes they're like local conventions or conventions I just want to be at, and I like put forward the funds to go do that and just have fun. So there's like work conventions and fun conventions, whereas technically I'm working at both, but one of them's like paid work and the other one's like marketing myself work.
Yeah, so it's all expendable. Do you get to choose? At the paid conventions, do you get to choose the characters you show up as, or do they have like say like, hey, we would like you to come out and be Xalatath for 2 days? Or
generally I get to pick. With DreamHack, I know the first time I got to guest with them, I actually worked their Diablo booth, so I specifically had to be in Diablo cosplay. And then I will generally match my costume to whatever Blizzard esports is going on for them. So they've done StarCraft, they've done Overwatch, so I generally will match my costumes to at least match one day for them to do like the Blizzard thing, because it makes sense anyway for me to do that. But most conventions, they just kind of want me there in armor.
Right.
So they're like, they might put in a special request sometimes, but generally I get to kind of pick.
Have you, I'm certain the answer to this will be yes, but have you had people come up to you at a convention that say, I'm at this convention because you're here? That's awesome.
It's really, really sweet. And I'm always honored when people are like, I came all the way just to meet you. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, you're a big deal. Okay, so you got the armor. I want to talk a bit about the ears too, because I mean, I'm watching you. You're moving. Those look like they're not falling off your head. Those look like real. Are they glued to your head?
So they're prosthetics by Cosplay FX that like pop on and off, which is cool. These are one of my like. I don't use a lot of elf ear prosthetics anymore, because they're not big enough for me. However, Alaria is pretty impossible to do without having prosthetics, so I kind of had to sacrifice the length of the ears for looking cleaner. Because generally you see me with like those really long ones. My friend Yalga Cosplay makes beautiful elf ears, so I always have her elf ears on. And she makes them really long and fantastic. And they clip into my wigs, but you have to hide them with hair. And Illyria's got this like pulled side back, so you can't do that.
Right. You just blew me away that it's wigs. I thought a lot of those were just your hair.
Illyria is one of the first times I've gotten to like actually use my hair, which is kind of cool. I even thought about doing a wig, but after talking to some people, like, no, just use your hair. You dyed it that way, you styled it that way, it looks fine. Like you might as well just go for it, especially because she's got the like side hard braid. It's like you might as well just use your own hair, and I'll just keep my hair like this until she's not relevant anymore or whatever. But
yeah, that's very cool. I like that. Okay, I want to talk about the weapons because this is probably my favorite part of the cosplay. What is it like crafting these legendary weapons, and how difficult is it?
So a lot of my weapons are 3D printed, and I'll work with different 3D modelers to be able to do that. I've started like slowly dabbling in that, but a lot of them these days are 3D printed because it's just easier. I have tendonitis in my hands, so digging into more than 10 millimeter foam, which is what you would generally use for weapons, can be a little more difficult for me. So we've gone to 3D printing, and that has its own like yays and nays. It's heavier than foam. However, it is more perfect. It's harder to rig LEDs in 3D prints, which I'm learning right now.
Right.
But it's a really interesting kind of toss up between all of them, because I have some foam weapons that I've had or like commissioned over the years from my friends, and everything's got like its place on what you want the materials to be. I used to actually not even want weapons because it was so difficult for me to craft weapons, and I used to just be somebody that never had my weapons, and now I'm like, I need my weapons.
Well, you've come full circle. I love it. Okay, you love Blizzard. Obviously, you love Blizzard. It's got to be Warcraft. Which franchise? I won't say which one's your favorite, but which one is the most fun to make cosplay for?
Definitely World of Warcraft. Okay. But also Hearthstone is super like whimsical. So when I get to lean into the Hearthstone side of World of Warcraft is super fun because they're a little more silly, a little more fun, a little more like you can do different skins for characters. I wish I had more time to cosplay more like Hearthstone. The last time I got to like do a specific Hearthstone skin was when they did that Flame Shot Sylvanas that Dave Greco did. And that was really fun. I crafted that in like 2 days, shot it to look like his card art, and I was like, but I absolutely love Hearthstone. But World of Warcraft's kind of where my heart is and where I end up doing most of my cosplays from. Diablo's kind of fun though because it's more grungy, more edgy, more you can be a little more dark with it. I think it is. And then StarCraft, I'm not very versatile in StarCraft. I know most of my StarCraft from Heroes of the Storm, but StarCraft can be fun as well. But it is not the one that I like know the best or can portray the best, I think. And Overwatch can be silly and fun, but I also don't cosplay from it too terribly much. I've started to delve more into it recently because I've been inspired by a lot of the new skins and like doing the esports stuff. So that's cool. Kind of my...
I love it. All of them, but Warcraft. All of them, but Warcraft. So you love all of them, but Warcraft is the one. Yeah. Let's talk about why you love Warcraft so much. How long has it been since you last went searching for Nathanos?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay. Were you upset that he wasn't in Shadowlands?
He's somewhere. I don't know where he is. He's fine, I'm sure. He's fine. He's taking a nap. He deserves a nap. After dealing with Sylvanas for like 30 years. He deserves a nap.
Right. He does deserve a nap. You're right. That's accurate. Did your I don't want to say crush. Did your infatuation? I can say crush. Did your crush on him start back like when he was a quest giver, when he was like all bony and gross?
I don't know. I can't explain it. I was introduced to Nathanos through his card art for like the Wrath of the Lich King TCG set. Oh, wow. And I knew him because of like his mysterious origins with Sylvanas, and it's always been hinted that they were like whatever, right? But it was never like confirmed. It was hush hush. It was implied. You could like dig and figure it out. And I was like, there's something about this guy, and he's kind of an asshole, but I like him. And of course, when Steve Denuser wrote Dark Mirror and brought him back, I was like livid. I was like, oh my God, this man is back and he looks like this. And I'm so excited. And then brain rot took over because nobody could stop me.
Right. You do a pretty mean Nathanos cosplay as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, which is pretty good. Is there anything you can't do? Is there any costume you've tried and you're like, no, I just can't make this work?
I am not good at like actually cosplaying men.
Okay.
I generally will make them women. Just because I have not found a way to like cosplay men in a way that I like. Like people joke all the time, like, when are you gonna do Nathanos with the beard? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I've played around with the idea. I've like joked about it, but every time I'm like, I kind of just like being pretty ladies.
Right.
So that's kind of where
it's
a skill I would like to get better at. Like, I would love to do an actual male Lorthamar. I would like to do an actual male Nathanos, but then it's like,
I'm really good at this other thing.
Yeah. I can just make them pretty ladies. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone likes North Dormo as a woman, right?
Yeah, that's great. It's yeah, it's all fantastic. Yeah, big fan. So you're a bit of a globetrotter. Like we mentioned, you go to some conventions. What's the farthest you've traveled for a convention?
Convention wise has been California.
Okay.
I have not gotten to venture outside of the States. I've been invited a couple times to foreign conventions, but the timing has never been right, or I've had something going on that I just couldn't do it. I was invited to go to Brazil this year, but unfortunately I was unable to do that. I've been invited to Canada a couple times. I was invited to France a couple years ago, but the timing was never there. So hopefully, I'm like hoping I get to go to like DreamHack Australia or something and be like, can I go to Australia? So hopefully at some point I will get to actually do that.
That would be cool. How do you travel with the costumes and the weapons?
TSA loves me.
I bet.
So I've flown with some pretty crazy stuff. I've flown internationally with some stuff. And TSA, I write them like a nice little, hello, my name is Kira. I am working with blank. I'm going to blank. This is a write-up of what I am doing and everything you can find in my luggage. Here's a picture. Here's my business card. And they generally open it and go, okay, and close it. So
really,
that's like my hack. They've never rummaged through my stuff. They've never like done anything. I think because I have such good documentation, they're like, all right.
Right.
It's a little weird, but all right.
Do you check the armor or is it in the cabin with you?
I have to check it.
I guess it would be too big to bring in the cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've never lost it. You've always had it arrive on time. Oh, there's a face.
Delta lost Sylvanas when I was on my way back from France.
No.
Which I was so tired because they like canceled my other flight, delayed my other flight. I was going to be stuck. I wasn't going to be stuck. They sent me on a plane and then I get home and they're like, we don't know where your luggage is. I was like, you lost Sylvanas? And it didn't even set in. So they like had to find it and they hand delivered it to my house.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, because like when I woke up, I'm like, oh my God, Sylvanas is missing, you know? Darn you, Delta.
Yeah, that's wild. We lost your luggage. No, hold on. Oh, no, you lost the whole person.
You lost Sylvanas Windrunner, and that's going to be a problem for you.
Yeah. Right, speaking of flying in costume or with costume, you very recently were in a Hearthstone commercial on a plane.
Yeah.
As Sylvanas. What is it like when Blizzard makes that phone call and says, hey, Kara, can you come do this commercial for us?
I cry really, really hard.
Okay. Yeah.
I was definitely like in tears and shaking, and I'm like, I will literally do anything you guys ask me ever. So to have that crazy of an opportunity come up, I was like, I gotta go get a passport. I gotta do 8,000 things, and I don't even care. I'm gonna be so happy getting to work with Hearthstone and be Sylvanas and like do this crazy stuff and meet a cosplayer that lives in Paris that I've wanted to meet for years and never gotten to because we live in completely different continents. But working for Blizzard, they're wonderful. Like I have worked with them a few times and I have nothing but glowing things to say about them. They're always incredibly kind, incredibly professional, good people. Like, and it's so much fun to like get to be this very special part of something that you love so much. Like, I love Hearthstone. I play Hearthstone pretty much every day, even if it's just like a little round of Battlegrounds. It's like my little comfort game that I use to relax. And getting to be a part of Hearthstone in such a really cool and special way is so honoring. To be like, we want you specifically, and we're gonna put you in another country to do this thing. And it's like, again, I cried real bad a lot on the plane ride home. I cried a lot.
Don't cry today. No tears today. I love that. That is so wholesome. That is so great. I like that they reached out to you. I like that your hard work paid off, like, directly. You know, it must feel so rewarding to see that, to have them recognize, hey, this person not only loves what we do, but they put a ton of work and effort into showing the world how much. Yeah.
It's really special, and it's something I was actually talking. I was at a convention 2.5 days ago.
Is there a watch on that?
It's like a but I was at a convention 2.5 days ago, and I was like talking to people that I have a very special relationship, I think, with like the gaming community and stuff. Because I have been like recognized and talked to by people that work on Blizzard games and things, and getting to like show Dave Greco, like, look, I did Larian. He's like, cool. I'm like, yay. You know, it's a special relationship that a lot of cosplayers don't get to have, either because their media isn't prevalent on social media, or they just haven't made that connection, or for whatever reason. So I feel very, very like special and honored that I do have that special of a connection with the games that I am literally obsessed with and love and spend 99% of my life playing and doing and cosplaying and making and screaming over, and, you know.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. That's a fantastic answer. If there's a Netflix show, if there's a live action Netflix show, and Blizzard calls you and says, hey, we need you to play one character, but you get to pick, which character would you pick?
Sylvanas.
Oh, yeah, that was an easy, that was a dumb question.
Like, if they were like, you can't be Sylvanas, I'd be like, I think if they were like, you can't be Sylvanas, I would probably want to play Jaina.
Okay.
Because I feel like those are characters that I cosplay a lot, and I feel like are characters that I enjoy portraying. Where my love obviously lies with Sylvanas. I do like playing Jaina. I think she's fun to cosplay. I like her character. So it's like that. If you could be this one, who would you pick? But absolutely Sylvanas. Like, that's my homegirl.
Yeah, I should have realized. That was a bad question. I appreciate you saving me there. What tips, if there's anybody who's watching or listening who wants to get into cosplay, who's like, you know what, I would love to do this. Do you have any tips or tricks for somebody starting out, or any words of encouragement?
Definitely find like a character you super love, or like an outfit you think is cute, or, you know, just find what you're passionate about and you really want to portray, and do a closet cosplay. If you can get it on Amazon, get it on Amazon. Don't worry too much about the craftsmanship and how perfect it is and how expensive it looks and how whatever. You know, if you have the money to commission it, do it. If you have the skill set to make it, go for it. Don't be afraid to fail, and you will fail, you know, learning and trying. If all you can do is put on a wig and makeup, do it anyway, and just enjoy these characters that you fell in love with, you know, and it evolves from there, and you'll build your skill sets from there and be inspired from there and keep learning and growing. And if that's as far as you take it, as a wig and makeup, that's great. A lot of people don't even take that first step, you know, into getting to enjoy being these characters that don't exist in our universe, but we have this really interesting way to make them a part of our life.
That's inspirational. That's a great answer. That you're very good at this. You're very good at this. Okay, I had one more question, and you might be sworn to secrecy, so I don't know if you can answer this. Is there like an underground secret Discord where all of the cosplayers like hang out and talk and share ideas? Like,
I don't know. I'd like to be a part if there is one.
Okay.
I feel like I'm like the weird Blizzard kid that everyone's like, what is she doing? And I'm over there like, because you go to an anime convention, I'm generally the only Blizzard character, like, cosplayer there, especially World of Warcraft. You might see some Overwatch, but you really don't see World of Warcraft too often unless you go to like a bigger convention with more people at it. It's usually just me, and everyone's like, ah, yes, there she is. Like,
Yeah. Who's that? Oh, that's Kira.
We don't go over there.
Yeah.
She's gonna talk to you about World of Warcraft. You don't want that.
Yeah,
Unless we want to.
Yeah. Don't go over there unless you're ready to hear a 35-page dissertation on why Nathanos should be the real king of Stormwind.
I got it ready too.
I love it. Hey friends, sorry to interrupt. Let me tell you what this season's sponsor, Guilds of WoW. Simplify your guild management with seamless Battle.net and WoW API integration for all game versions with flexible viewing options that include Google Sheets integration. Use cutting-edge tools for roster management, event planning, and recruit automation with their advanced Discord bot and in-game add-on. Join over 110,000 accounts, 10,000 guilds, and 2.5 million characters thriving on the platform. Customize your guild page, showcase moments, and boost your online presence with custom domains and Twitch integration. Stay ahead of the curve with Guilds of WoW today. Kira, we end every episode with a 10-question questionnaire, and if you are ready, I would like to ask you those now.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. What is your favorite word?
Let's see. What is my favorite word? Prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation. Isn't that when you make small things out of magic? Know what that is from D&D?
Because in D&D, you can, like, when you use prestidigitation, I think it, like, takes moisture out of something.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's a fun word.
Yeah, it's a great word. That's a great word.
One of my favorite armor sets is, like, the shoulders of prestidigitation or something. They're, like, the warlock shoulders.
Oh, very cool. Okay. All right. I dig it. Question number 2. What is your least favorite word?
Moist.
That is a very popular answer.
I'm the one that'll say that word the most because I know it upsets other people, but I also hate that word.
It's like when you have a cut on the roof of your mouth and you just can't stop licking it. It's like, oh, I don't like this, but I can't stop. Question number 3. What sound or noise do you love?
I love the quest sound that plays in World of Warcraft. Like the little dun-dun. It's actually my ringtone on my phone when I get a text message.
Oh, very cool.
That will play because it's a nice sound and it makes me like excited every time I hear it. I'm like, oh, quest.
I got a quest. Question number 4. What sound or noise do you hate?
The rogue like disappearing sound, usually because I know I'm gonna get my butt kicked in some PvP.
Yeah, that is a terrifying sound.
Like, it's like that in the Reaver sound that we all like have PTSD from. We're all like,
yeah. Yeah. Or a Reaver going into stealth. No
thanks, I'm good.
Yeah. Question number 5. What is your favorite dungeon?
My favorite dungeon. Return to Karazhan's dungeon, right?
Yeah, that counts. That's a dungeon.
That's my favorite dungeon.
Yeah. That's a great dungeon. Also a great raid. Question number 6. What is your least favorite dungeon? It's really amusing for me to see you making the faces in real life that you make in your photos. I'm sorry.
I have a very animated face. I got a face with subtitles, which is not great all the time. That's why I cosplay Sylvanas. What is my least favorite dungeon? I'm sure there's like 10 of them that I have to do when I do time walking that I get it and I'm like, I hate this dungeon.
Yeah, it's okay if you can't think of one.
I cannot think of the names off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's all good. Question number 7. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Solid answer. Question number 8. What's your favorite raid?
My favorite raid is... It's going to sound really cheesy, but Sanctum of Domination because I get to fight Sylvanas. I also like the Denathrius fight, and I forget the name of the raid at the moment.
Yeah, Castle Nathria. Yeah. I have to agree with you. Sanctum of Domination, I know a lot of people, it seems like it's hit or miss. Some people hate it and some people love it. I am in the love category. I thought it was a great raid. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. It's
so good. I actually got to talk to one of the encounter designers for the Sylvanas fight. He was actually next to me on my flight to BlizzCon. So that was really cool to like hear about some of the like ideas that went into it, and it made me like love the raid even more, getting to hear a little bit of like behind the scenes on like the choices of like her attacks and stuff. I'm like, I love this. I think Sanctum of Domination's cool.
That is cool. Do you ever If you had to, we're gonna sidebar from the questions here. If you could ask the designers to stop doing one thing in their costume design, what would it be?
Please let me pee.
Okay. I'd really like to pee.
I would very much like to be able to go into a bathroom by myself at a convention. I think every one of my friends hates when I wear Alex Strasza.
Oh yeah.
Because they gotta like, it's
a lot. Okay.
Please, I'm begging you. Make me be able to pee.
Please let
once.
me pee. All right, Blizzard, if you're listening, just let the girl pee. Question number 9. What's your least favorite raid?
Firelands. Hate that raid.
Yeah.
I hate that raid so much, especially after doing the Terracosa staff quest line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That raid can burn, and it does.
I like that. Good answer. And the last question, question 10. If Azeroth was real, where would you call home?
Besides Nathanos' bed.
Didn't see that coming.
Silvermoon. Very easy.
Yeah.
I love Silvermoon. I love Suramar, but Silvermoon has always felt like the most like home. So I would like instantly just plop myself there and be like, you guys can, I'll go anywhere. It's fine.
We're going back in midnight. It's going to be fantastic.
I cried when I heard we were going back to Quel'Thalas, and it's going to mean a lot when that expansion hits, especially because most of my favorite characters are, elves, and getting to go kind of home and hopefully fix what's been broken for over 20 years is going to feel really good.
Yeah.
And finally get that payoff.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. My dog has just decided to start barking at me. But luckily, Kira, that is the whole show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
I am on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Dark Lady Cosplay, where you'll find all my weird crackhead content. I mostly just scream into the void about how much I love Sylvanas and Nathanos.
I love it. That should be your profile. Enjoy my weird crackhead content.
Just no name or anything. It just says enjoy the crack content.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I love it. Thank you. Friends, thank you for joining us this week. Hopefully you had as much fun as I did. And remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Recruit a Friend. You can find us on Twitter at RAF_podcast and everywhere you find podcasts as Recruit a Friend. If you'd like to support the show directly, you can find us on Patreon, where you'll get all episodes early, as well as some fun behind-the-scenes perks.